Welcome back. So now I've tried to structure the first part of my new system here. So I got my roles now, my admin, my educators, and right now there's none, so I just put one in there because Firebase complains if I don't. And then I added a student here, which is this guy right here, the profile. So notice the name for the profiles I put in here. So this means that the admins right now is only this guy, which is WFMO, which is down here. Okay, so that's the LJB. And just to show you, that's actually the same name for that guy inside the authentication path. So I tried to at the same time change it, so instead of making UIDs here, some kind of defined ones, I actually tried in the users to add the ID of the user in the authentication directly on the user. That makes sense later if we should want to delete or update or recreate these users in any way. So what have we actually done here? Well, the only thing I've done is I added the rules, I added these new guys under the rules, and then I added in the users, as I said, I changed this guy into being, instead of just a random generated one, the actual UID for the profile, or sorry, for the authentication user. The other thing I did was I added this profile down here. So instead of having the information that I don't want others to be, everybody to have available, I actually add that inside the profile, so any student can only edit his own profile. He can't start editing like the users or other users and stuff like that. He can only edit his profile. And as we start adding stuff like educations in here, like this, again, you can't add this unless you add a single one here. Let me just fake one again, just to show you. So when I start adding educations here, this can be secured from the actual user student access. So you have to remember, as soon as I put an access point, it'll actually cascade all the way down to the 3. Okay, so if I put student access here, read write, he would get access here, access here, access here. He would get access everywhere. And you couldn't stop him. So that's kind of why I want to add this structure and add the profile. Now, the problem with this is that we have to refactor our code. And I like doing that. I like refactoring, so it's not a big problem. So now that I added these rules, let's go to the code for a second. The first thing I did is pretty much I went in and I added a new file called profile. So let me just zoom here. So I just added a new TS file under users, under this folder right here, and that file is called profile TS, and that's just going now to contain display name, email, and username. So this is the things that I expect right now that the user or the student or anybody who has a profile in here can actually change. But we're going to change that later if we want to add more data. But this is the access point for a student right now regarding users. The other thing is I added this one called in the users. I removed all the stuff. I just moved to profile. And that's pretty much it. And then the last thing I did was I added a new profile connection here. So you can actually have classes and classes. Pretty basic when you do object-oriented programming. So that's nice. So now we have a profile and we have the remaining information that we do not want everybody to talk to or see, right? Next thing, the user service. So what did I change in here? Well, let me just zoom out again. So here I actually made one very, very big change. Let me show you the difference here from the last Git commit, because there's actually one very large change here that's pretty important. And that's actually here where we, instead of using the list where we push a user to the database, this would generate one of those random keys for the user. We actually now say instead that we want to use the object call. We want to set a specific path for the user where the end of the path is actually the UID, meaning the auth UID. So that means that now the user, when I create a user from now on, he's going to, instead of getting this random generated code from Firebase, he's actually going to get the auth UID for the auth user. And then I'm going to set the information about the user in the end here. That's one difference. The other difference is down here where I kind of went in because I had a small mistake that I didn't add a key. I pretty much just deleted the entire database. So I added this one. Please add that to your delete user so you don't end up deleting the entire user database. So I said if you don't bring a key, you cannot call this, because then you'll delete the database. Minor thing, I know, but now it's in there. But notice this one is actually for me to actually now send, instead of random generating a new key, I can actually now push a specific key to the new user I generate. Okay, we'll try and create users later just to show that again. And the rest I did was pretty much just, as you'll notice here, now I have to put the profile in front of the email and username everywhere where I use it. And it's not a lot of places, so let's just have a look at the user here. Inside the create component, I used it inside line 20. Here I added .profile, and inside line 42, I added .profile. Okay, Inside the user, the single user component, I again added the profile and the profile inside where I just display the username. That's all I had to change. Now actually I have profile inside my set, which I can now start defining rules about. So let's have a look that our application is still running. I still have all my information available as I'm logged in here as the admin, which is, it makes sense. But as we start building more of the roles now and the rules of how we should manage the data, you'll see differences. See you next time.